Everyone shits on Biden because he was talking about how for 8 years he had imagined what would happen if Obama was assassinated. But, like, to be fair, who doesn't envision assassinating your coworkers, like,
Absolutely,
in any workplace, you know? Like,
I think there was an episode of The Office about that.
That's one of the most relatable things he could possibly do.
I'm glad that Biden is normalizing the daily struggle of the working class.
Because who could relate more? Yeah, God.
Instead of white man's burden is the white collar burden. That's what Biden really focuses on.
It's the very specific white vice president's burden. Like, nobody else... well, I mean, not nobody else. It's not like we haven't had a whole lot of other white vice presidents. But what I'm saying is...
Kept the vice president bloodline pure with more white men.
Which Metal Gear game is this again?
I mean, like, I guess it could be worse because, I mean, like, at least Biden hasn't sold out the same way that, like, Tim Ryan has with trying to put, like, dumbass slogans on T-shirts, being like, Namaste 2020, haha. You know, he could do a fashion line, you know, of Dockers.
Literally, I was on a show about the fucking debates, and I have already forgotten who Tim Ryan is.
I mean, to be fair, I'm pretty sure Tim Ryan's campaign manager has forgotten who Tim Ryan is. So. But, I mean, you know, like, if Tomi Lahren can have her own fashion line...
She is not too controversial, in fact.
No. I mean, Biden should absolutely cash in on this.
Oh yeah, could you imagine his old man butt and like a real tight pair of Lululemons? Like,
Fuck yeah.
Oh my God, Biden wearing chubbies.
I smell that hair. Ugh. You ever like say something and then immediately feel like you just need to cut your tongue out?
I mean, that's this whole podcast for
yeah, that
me,
is the
so
life of a
I don't know.
podcaster. You're right.
It's the presidential section at the Dillards, and it's just Sperry's with Biden's face on them, Dockers with Biden's face on them, Polo Ralph Lauren with Biden's face on it.
Each one is just a photocopy of the previous face, so it gets even more distorted and just terrifying.
Tommy Bahama with Biden's face on it.
Psychic Dolphin Garage.
Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of Psychic Dolphin Garage. I'm one of your co-hosts, Kelton. Joining me today is my good buddy, Zach.
Hey guys, welcome back to the garage. We're here with the Psychic Dolphins and Bo.
Hey folks, yet another week in Shitsville, huh?
We got some fun stuff to talk about. I mean, it's been a week, fellas, right?
Oh, it sure has.
Every time it seems like we do a podcast episode, I circle back through and go, oh, that happened earlier this week, or oh, that was something that we just missed, or oh, that happened while we were recording, like NASA finding out that there was a meteor heading for us, and that we have 10 years basically until it may or may not hit us. They're like, it definitely won't hit us, but it'll get in between us and the moon. So
that means that it'll probably hit us, but they're not ready to tell us yet.
Yeah.
That's what that means.
Producing shit for the capitalists while they fucking build their fucking moon rockets.
Yes, actually. Why do you think Elon wants to go to Mars so quickly?
Why do you think they're really trying to build that telescope station in Hawaii and force those indigenous peoples out? Huh? They know how important that asteroid is. We have to get a close-up of it as it hurtles towards us. Jason Momoa be damned.
Yeah, it's gonna be a sick music video.
The boys mentioned they mentioned the asteroid, but it's just people walking up to it and asking, "Can I get a selfie?"
Oh my God, human asteroid! I love your work. It's fantastic.
Human asteroid is actually just what I get called by my exes.
Aww.
Because you destroy a third of the life on Earth with the initial
Absolutely.
impact?
Yeah.
Okay.
I just thought it was gonna be something related to craters, you know, ego or just self-esteem or something.
No. It's the destruction. Whether that's my ridiculous dick game or the fact that I'm an incredibly toxic person to be around, that's up to you, the viewer, to decide.
Listen. If anything else fails, you have enough pure charisma, charm, and just the right amount of self-awareness that you could really get a job working for PETA. Like,
Absolutely.
it's right
Yeah.
there for you. With
Yeah.
the way their ad campaigns are going these days, it just really seems like they have some Zoomer working there doing a whole bunch of inside jokes they have no idea about.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's what I was going to say. Also, on top of all that, I'm just a massive fucking furry. So, you know.
So, yeah, that's the real cutting edge advantage that the Zoomers carry into the PR world is just spreading furry propaganda.
Yeah, like y'all remember a little while ago when Tony the Tiger got on Twitter. I don't think it was for the first time, but like they like kind of like broke out onto Twitter.
Yeah, and then they realized how many people actually really liked tigers.
Oh, they love fucking. He's a hunk. Tony's a hunk.
Yeah.
Not gonna lie. He's a big hunky kitty. You know, so no wonder people were fucking horny on Maine for the brand.
You're like, we have a lot of 30-something adults into our cereal. It's really odd.
They buy so many boxes, and all of the cutouts just sell out immediately.
Yeah, gonna start getting some different toys in those boxes. This podcast sponsored by Bad Dragon. I feel like I said that last time.
Yeah, you did. You did.
Hey, if we say it enough times, eventually
It'll
they'll
happen.
hit
It's
us
like the
up.
secret. Yeah.
We're going to find out the one guy who works at Bad Dragon and actually listens to our podcast. Just like, listen, I know you guys were joking about that, but we run a very serious company here, and we'd be very interested in sponsoring a segment.
I would absolutely no. I would
Yikes.
fucking sell out in 2 seconds for that. Holy shit! That's a hell of a plug. Are you kidding me? Fucking silicone dong money. I'm in.
Silicon dong money. Instead of Silicon Valley, it's Silicon Dong.
Yep.
I just have to wonder, though, that maybe in the PETA offices, if the artist was just doing something on their own time, and then, you know, the boss walked in on this, they were like, what the fuck is this? And
No. I just hid the text layers. It's an ad.
Oh,
I promise.
good work. Yeah, really provoking. What's the message behind it? What are we going for?
Milk is bad, actually. You know, I mean, this person's clearly enjoying themselves, but they're a filthy carnist. Why do you have a boner, Steve?
Why does that man look like Joe Biden? It's political. It's topical. It'll be fine.
Yeah, it's political satire. He actually thought that this was a pedophile ad.
Yeah, see? Works on a whole bunch of different levels.
Yeah, that's the thing. If
Yeah.
they really wanted to hammer home the Joe Biden thing, it'd be an anti-veal ad, not milk.
Oh my God. Wouldn't it actually be anti-cow
Yikes.
because veal is just the right age group for Joe Biden's taste?
Well, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, like it's that's exactly the kind of calf he's sniffing.
Oh, God damn it.
That sentence just feels bad in the mouth.
Yeah, trying to fuck a baby cow, call that caffeine.
Ew. Our 0 to drive time rate on this fucking episode is unprecedented, I gotta say.
Why did everyone stop tuning out after the first, I don't know, 7 minutes?
Yeah, I really like these guys like political stuff, but they keep talking about fucking farm animals.
It's gonna make the Twitch stream with the farming simulator very awkward. You're
Also,
like, no, Bo, slow down. Let's see what that donkey's up to. And
Oh,
walk
no.
around it.
It's farming simulator, not a dating sim. Also, before we move on, and please God, can we move on pretty soon here? Bad Dragon does in fact have fucking dolphin dilds. So I'm sensing a brand deal.
Yikes.
I am too. This is going to be fantastic.
This is not my idea. This is the terrible logic of late capitalism flowing through me.
No, no need to apologize. Listen, like if we can get a deal with Bad Dragon for dolphin dildos,
Here's the fucking Venn diagram. Overlapping section. The terrible logic of late capitalism flowing through me. On the left, you have pitching tie-in dildos for my podcast. On the right, you have ordering Taco Bell, ever.
Well, I mean, like,
that's awful rude towards Taco Bell, actually.
yeah,
Come on.
that's the real sponsor that we're hoping to get. I mean, we Taco Bell provides some great early content for this podcast. We're already getting, nostalgic for it. But to circle back onto the greatest hits, cocaine is the wonderful life force that brings us all together, I think, right?
I mean, why get up in the morning?
How do you podcast without cocaine and a 6-pack of natties?
The best way to wake up is to snort something that makes you not be able to get up. You know what I'm saying? Anyway.
Nice.
Well, my point is that maybe, vegans actually party a little harder than we think, because they found $1 million worth of cocaine being smuggled in bananas as they were trying to enter the United States. So I
always stuff my banana with cocaine before I get on a flight.
To be fair, they said that they were just trying to do rails off the bananas, so.
No, it's if you don't want to sleep on the plane, you got a book to finish or something, like, there you go. And who the fuck reads other than, like, when they're, they literally can't do anything else.
Why? Why are you reading right now?
If you read, do not at me.
Just like trying to put cocaine, smuggle it in through the spine of your book. Just like, what? No, I don't read. I had no idea it was there, officer.
Yeah.
Look.
Officer, if you listen to my podcast, please don't listen to my podcast. I am begging you.
What do you mean I'm indicted for 9 more crimes? Hold on. What's happening here?
Oh, no.
I mean, it just seems like it's a crime that you would see pop up in, like, the opening scene of the next Bond movie or Spider-Man movie, It just is like, we would be the dumbass criminals that end up getting apprehended. Not killed or anything, but, get a wisecrack and then get hauled into the authorities.
Yeah, we just get webbed to a wall somewhere, and then we get violently abused by the, justice system. Yeah.
Well, I mean, a masked vigilante webbed us to a wall, left us out there all night for 9 hours, and then eventually the cops came, and we were thrown in jail. Great. I love this city. New York, best place on earth.
Hey, I'm walking here. New York, baby, the Big Apple.
We may not have made it away with the money, but we sure got some good quips in while he was here.
Hey, Spider-Man, why don't you fucking gabagool?
Oh wow, yeah, good work there, Bo.
That's what they talk like there.
Hey, Spider-Man, why don't you do some cocaine with us, eh?
Spider-Man on cocaine sounds like the most horrifying type of thing that we can do. Peter, the experimental college phase years.
Peter flying through the city on LSD.
I mean, like, I'm sure when the next Spider-Man movie comes out, we'll be making a whole bunch of, like, thanks for giving me probation for 6 years, Spider-Man. I'm not able to see my kids anymore, but I appreciate it.
Thanks for subjecting me to a cruel and fucking totally unjust justice system, Spider-Man. I appreciate it.
Yeah. What we're saying is that vigilantism is bad, not because it, subverts the corrupt parts of the justice system, but that it actually reinforces the corrupt parts of the justice system that we don't have access to. That is to say, the prison system and the companies and people that are investors and owners in the for-profit prison system in America that has more citizens currently incarcerated than the entire rest of the world's prison population. So, Spider-Man bad.
Yeah, the best way to do it is just shooting pedophiles in the face at point-blank range.
But also I think that was hit on in the new Breaking Bad trailer, where the guy that they're interviewing says, I'm not going to give him up. Even if I knew anything, I saw how you kept him locked in a cage. Yeah, locked in a cage the same way that kids are locked in cages.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
By the people who own the detention centers.
Spider-Man at the border just picking up immigrant children and throwing them to ice. Jesus Christ.
You know how I was saying The Boys, like, it was good, but it felt distinctly like mid-2000s in its political satire?
Mm-hmm.
That would be a fucking more modern take, is, you have fucking Homelander or one of the other ones just, like, casting a net over a giant crowd of immigrant children and just fucking kidnapping them all at once.
Yeah, no, having the boys do the defense contract, they want to be a new defense contractor and oust the rest of the industry from, the worldwide wars that we wage all the time, is very Modern Warfare, Call of Duty Modern Warfare. A more modern take would definitely be, running up people at the border. I don't know what video game that, exactly that would be.
Oh my God.
1-to-1.
All of the people who are, non-powered vigilante huge fans of all the superheroes in the Boys universe, those are like the equivalent of the Oath Keepers and the Proud Boys
And
in
Threepers
today's
and
world.
like dipshit border militias, yeah.
Yeah,
More or
Jesus.
less, yeah.
Oh, well, that's not fun. But it's amazing how a cape shit show like that can actually make us think, not like a super disposable popcorn franchise that owns all our souls.
All I'm saying is they just dump all their fucking money into Hideo Kojima and just let nature take its course.
Yeah. Bo's strategy is to let all of the movie studios pursue their true artistic talents, be true to themselves, bomb out, fail as movie studios, then have Disney go and buy them up for pennies on the dollar.
Yep,
So
it's
covert
it's-
Agent Bo here is what I'm thinking.
It's an interesting take on accelerationism, but I think the mouse is in our court.
The D23 news about how they're launching Disney Plus, and they had all of their accounts on Twitter talking to each other like they were people.
Haute cringe right there, by the way. Oh my god.
Yeah, no, that's premiere, like flashback to whatever our first episodes were, talking about how advertising bad.
It is so bad. Disney Plus is going to destroy us all because it's going to cost $13, guys. Okay?
Yeah.
$13 gets you 4 simultaneous streams at 4K with and HDR at no extra cost.
I mean, that's dumb that's not already the standard. I just want to say, as someone who has worked on my network all fucking week long, get it set up properly,
Yeah.
that streaming at 4K and HDR should not be something that you have to do, that you have to pay extra for, you have to do anything extra for. That is the standard for internet streaming at this point, and it should be regarded as such.
And now, though, they're able to actually do that. But that $13, so it's going to be high quality in terms of its appearance and layout. But all of these properties you're going to get for $13. Disney, ABC, Pixar, ESPN, Marvel, Star Wars, FX, 20th Century Fox, Fox Searchlight, National Geographic, Star, and Hulu.
And you're a fool if you think I'm not buying it.
People are like, oh, yeah, you're going to, be a slave to the mouse. Versus what Netflix is doing and versus what everything else is doing. Like, no one should be thinking that Disney is good by any means. But my God, like, within 2 years, I don't see Netflix or Shudder or even HBO Max actually being able to take a bite out of that. It's insanity.
It's monolithic. Yep, and it's just gonna get bigger too. I mean, those fucking Disney stans on Twitter like freaking out, like, how fucking could you, Sony? Blah blah blah. Like, the fact that these people can't, slurp enough corporate nut, like, it's not gonna get better.
No, not at all. I mean, and this Disney said that they're not actually expecting the streaming service to make a profit until 2024.
Sees the means of production, and by production I don't mean labor, I mean movie and TV production. Haha.
Yeah,
there you go.
What
I did
really
it.
nailed
Landed
it,
on all 3 feet.
Like, do we in 2024, 5 years from now? That's assuming that all of the current studios still exist and haven't been bought up. AT&T and Warner Bros. That conglomerate could buy up Sony, and other studios could get bought up as well.
Oh, we don't mean that it'll be making money by 2024. We mean we'll own everything by 2024, and it'll be your only goddamn option.
Yeah, they estimate
Also,
to have 90 million users, I believe, by the end of the first year.
The fucking sheer amount of like Disney, every fucking moron with a "we do Disney" thing in their home is buying like an account per person for their household. Like, there's no way this isn't making money.
And that's not even to mention the fact that Disney is using all of this to then actually push the stuff in the real world, the merchandising and the experiences.
Exactly.
Disney is going to have 25 designated areas. They're going to have designated areas in 25 different targets across the world or across the country in October. So it's going to be just Disney stuff taking up a section, just like you would have produce or electronics or whatever. It's just going to say Disney there in Target. Star Wars is going to have its own hotel set up, and they're really trying to push for a cruise ship or a casino experience, but on land. You know, it's stretching its tendrils into the real world. It's not just a media thing.
It's not just Disney stores. They'll soon have, like, in the food section, they'll have the snacks, like Disney snacks. It'll be like Star Wars fruit gushers.
Well, they have that, yeah.
But it'll be a specifically Disney section instead of just being distributed in with the rest of it.
You can buy literally
like,
all your food on one aisle, and it's like there's a fucking picture of Pluto on it, or Goofy, or something,
or Iron Man.
Yeah. Oh no, they're destroying the Green Giant, and it'll just be Iron Man.
It's Groot. Groot is going to replace the Green Giant.
Gross. As much shit as I've been talking the last minute, like, if they did a fucking Robert Downey Jr., but also kind of Tony Stark, but it's pretty blatantly, it's not the character, it's more so the actor, tie-in with, like, some shitty plastic bottle whiskey, I'd be all over that. I'm not gonna lie.
I mean, that's the thing, is that we can hold out and we can fight against it and we can say, no, we're not going to do this. Or we can just accept the fact that it's not up to us, because in 3 years, it's going to be all over the place. Like, we can't fight it at all.
I'm currently researching how much it costs to build a data center. I don't know exactly how much, like, an Amazon data center costs. I don't know if there's even any information on that, but what I've found out is that it can cost up to $10,000 a mile to run fiber cable from a node to your data center, like a dedicated line. $10,000 a mile. It costs $88 million. They're estimated $88 million a year to run these data centers. So data centers alone that Disney could use to host their services on, to compete with Amazon and Google, or if they're just, making a deal with Amazon and Google to use their existing data centers and just pour their liquid assets into them. Trillions of dollars, $1 trillion a year. Like it'll take a lot to build out the data centers, but they have so much money on hand that the potential revenue is going to more than make up for it. Like, if it costs $88 million a year, like even $1 billion a year revenue more than makes up the cost of all of that. If you're talking $1 trillion a year revenue from their streaming service, like that, it's an incomprehensible amount of money that you can't compare anything to. It doesn't matter how much it fucking costs to create the data centers to host all of their storage, to host all of their media that they have, that they'll let us have access to for $13 a month. They could charge us $1 a month, and it would be worth it.
Quick aside before we move on from this, but I had a real cursed thought. I mean, this episode has been replete with cursed ideas and phrases, but the idea that fucking either it has happened already or will happen soon, but someone asked somebody else to Disney Plus and chill, and I think I just need to lay down for a while, honestly. I'm trying to be optimistic about this, but
Disney will actively fight that because it is so
we have to be family friendly.
Yeah. No, Disney is talking about
gotta make more slaves to the mouse.
Yeah, no, Disney is talking about how they're wanting to digitally alter Steven Spielberg films to get rid of all the smoking because that's not on brand.
Yeah.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Just replace everything with vapes.
It's sponsored by Juul.
All the walkie-talkies that were once guns in E.T. are now vapes.
I'm glad that meme from 2010 is still around 10 years later.
Which one? The editing one?
Netflix and chill.
Netflix and chill. Oh yeah, absolutely. You think fucking Netflix comes on and we're watching Frasier all evening? No way. Well, I am, but other people I've heard do other stuff.
I've heard that other people do other stuff, if you know what I mean. Smoking big doinks.
I can just imagine, and the Lady and the Tramp reboot that they do.
Ugh.
It's just gonna, instead of be spaghetti, it's gonna be them trying to split a Chick-fil-A sandwich. Something very wholesome for everyone.
Yeah, the Chick-fil-A one is them, or the Lady and the Tramp is them splitting the Chick-fil-A sandwich, and it's the Aristocats. It's also them, like, the Aristocats have the Chick-fil-A sandwich, and then, like, the Street Cats have the Popeye sandwich.
I do enjoy how Popeyes has become, the food of the proletariat for whatever reason.
Absolutely, yeah. No, there's a clear class divide, a class divide, and I should say a race divide too. Because as a meme I saw pointed out recently, said, somebody was trying to be all fucking funny and smart by saying, "Oh, Chick-fil-A, tastes like it grew up in a 2-parent household, and Popeyes tastes like it hasn't seen its dad in years." And the retort to that, of course, was, "Well, Chick-fil-A sounds like it drops hard, or tastes like it drops hard R's in public." So yeah. It's a real it's the loaded, it's a fucking sign of the times, boys.
Chick-fil-A has pickle
cap off that train of thought.
Oh yeah, Chick-fil-A has pickles that have Blue Lives Matter stickers stamped onto them.
Oh god, yeah, like one of the lines on one of the ridges on the pickles is just a Blue Lives line. Like, of course they got the yellow one right next to it for fucking loss prevention or whatever.
Yeah, now you can buy our special edition security pickles.
Ugh. I don't get why all of a sudden Popeyes has had this shift. I'm happy for it, don't get me wrong, but it just feels weird that we're going from one restaurant overlord, so to speak, and we're trying to switch it to a new restaurant overlord. Like, we're switching over to Popeyes, which is owned by a restaurant group that also owns Burger King and Tim Hortons, and we're like, yeah, fuck it, stick it to Chick-fil-A, instead of us just trying to make our own chicken sandwiches for some reason.
Yeah, no, like the copycat recipes have been online for years and years, but nobody knows how to fry chicken in America.
I mean, some people know how to fry chicken in America, Zach. What are you trying to say?
I don't want to brag. I don't want to brag about how easy it is to fry chicken.
You're like,
I just want to say,
I got this recipe from my father, who got it from his father, who got it from his father, who got it from his slaves.
Oh no.
No, goddamn. No, I used Google
that was a cringe
once.
Sneeze, by the way, if that didn't fucking pick up on the mic.
I'm allergic to your cringe.
I'm sorry that's the realistic story behind everyone's goddamn chicken salad recipe.
Well, that is literally like, that's KFC's whole gimmick. I mean, like,
yeah, exactly.
KFC is basically like if an old Miss mascot ran a fucking chicken place. But anyway.
Ole Miss mascot,
yeah.
Jesus.
For like one of their like more obscure intramurals where like it's still totally cool for them to be racist.
The fighting racism. There we go.
Yeah. Not even like even anything like, it's not symbolic or like a character. It's just the concept of racism, and they're fucking out there on the bowling field cheering for it or whatever.
Surprisingly, not even the most controversial mascot in the SEC. So
decentralize the chicken fryers. Seize the means of
Here's another one.
fryers.
Holy shit.
Just knocked it out of the park. Good job, baby.
Oh my god, I just realized
thank you,
that Koch brothers plant that had the ice raid from a few weeks ago.
That wasn't the Koch brothers. Yeah. They just had the same name.
No, I'm
talked
sorry.
about this.
Koch Foods, whatever. They supplied the same company that works with Burger King. That's Popeye's chicken sandwiches.
No ethical consumption, baby.
Oh no.
And they're running out of chicken sandwiches, almost like they for some reason
missing a bunch of workers.
Yeah. Oh my god. The walls are closing in on me. Hold on, guys.
Holy shit, there is no ethical consumption in capitalism.
I really fucking love that our economic system is like a Pepe Sylvia, like red string style thing, except instead of like red string dotting like across the fucking chalkboard or the whiteboard, corkboard or whatever, like to one side and then another side, and it ends up with this crazy guy spider web. It's more like just like a straight line of like dot, dot, Dot. Oh shit, these guys are evil.
Yeah.
It's not chess or checkers. It's just Battleship. Just randomly. Like.
It's tic-tac fucking toe, man. Like, it's really just dumb evil.
All the Zoomers are calling it tic-tac-toe. Anyway, the thing that I don't understand about this whole Popeyes, Chick-fil-A sort of a thing is why old people feel like they can butt in on this, like what Sam's Club did when they added Chick-fil-A and Popeyes, and they were just like, hey, check out our chicken sandwiches. They're so good. And it's a frozen chicken sandwich and frozen waffle fries. Just like, come on, Grandpa.
Yeah, they considered using the Walmart account to do that, but it was just going to be the Ore-Ida crinkle cut fries and a bag of Tyson chicken patties.
Who goes to Sam's Club?
As one of the companies who worked with Walmart and Sam's Club, which was soul draining. Oh my god, it fucking sucked. It's old people. Like, literally, I'd be there at, like, fucking, like, 7 in the morning, like, before they open, or, like, as they open for, like, the Plus Mega members or whatever.
Yeah.
Which also they call customers members, too, which is...
Is this in Oklahoma?
This was in Oklahoma, yes.
Hold on. So Sam's Clubs, if their members could get in early, like the Rewards Plus members or whatever?
Which lets you shop there like any of those big box stores, right? And then you have the, like, Plus members who can show up, like, 2 hours before. Like, at real boomer hours.
That is that's the sign that your base is old people, when the selling point is you can get there early instead of late. What the fuck?
Yep.
I'm pretty sure in Oklahoma that maybe they still do think that Sam's Club is new and cool and good. And they also listen to our podcasts on 8-tracks. But here in Texas, we're a little bit more sophisticated.
Here in God's state.
All our old people go to Costco.
That's right.
Gross.
Recently voted most woke company in the United States, because I guess
gross.
Oh yeah,
you can have a woke company, even though the it's like, oh well, why does everyone like Costco? They pay their employees a living wage. Oh well, that's cool. Why are they doing that? Oh, well, they just, they really want to be good guys. That's also why they give them health care. Like, oh, well, I'm sure there's nothing to dive into here, right?
Yeah, no need to read any further into that.
I'm just going to take a big old sip of water here. Zach, can you say exactly why they do these practices?
It's just $2 hot dogs.
Yeah, it's so refreshing right now.
I'm so glad that the company that finally realized that labor is valuable in producing profits for shareholders, for people in upper management, for the company, quote unquote, which is, recognized by the state as being an entity in and of itself. And we don't slave labor for it. We actually, are employed by it. Please don't read the fine print. The company that finally realized that at-will employment is damaging to workers, it's damaging to communities, and it's damaging to the company, because you lose money in training people, you lose money in, and when you have lots of high turnover, you lose investment into the people that work in your stores. You aren't hiring people that want to work there, that have been there a while, and that are invested in your company. And so in terms of corporate culture, you are actively harming yourself by participating in at-will employment. And so they, instead of creating a union or creating a way to for their employees to maybe own more of the company,
a co-op of sorts.
Like co-ownership, co-operation,
co-communism.
That's the quiet part, Bo. That's the quiet part, Bo.
How the fuck do you think we can radicalize old people that don't give a fuck about climate change if you use words like goddamn communism, Bo? Fuck.
Yeah, no, they're woke because they want to invest in people. They want people to be there, and to want to work there.
Yeah, turnover is expensive.
And yeah, turnover is expensive, and investing in people is expensive. And if you get people to work for you because they enjoy their jobs, then you are more productive overall.
Yeah, I mean, well, not to dox myself too much, but to cite my example again of the specifically the Norman, Oklahoma Sam's Club, get your shit together. You hire all these fucking old people and college students, and nobody gives a shit, and your whole fucking store looks like garbage. This is a call out, Norman, Oklahoma Sam's Club. Anyway.
Yeah, that's right, Oklahoma. You're on watch now.
But yeah, like having employees who, I mean, like, they're not fucking thriving. They're still being exploited, but at least they have some fucking skin in the game. Like, that makes a big difference. And the only reason that more companies don't do that, take that strategy that in the long run is more valuable, not only to the employees, but to the companies themselves, it's literally just out of fucking, short-sighted malice, basically.
Yeah, no, I mean, like, I truly have a deep-seated resentment for woke capitalism, and I don't think that, it's like, oh, well, are these people selling out or buying in? And it's like, obviously they are selling out. Like, there is no element of them buying into their own employees' well-being. They're just realistically trying to reduce the overhead cost. And we're idiots for thinking that they would actually care. The second that they're able to, do an unpaid internship but pay everyone in Costco bucks, we all know that they would do that. Looking at you, Amazon.
It's going to be Disney bucks, okay?
Amazon bucks. When Amazon and Disney eventually merge and we all then have to use Whole Foods as our Costco membership. This is...
Yeah, it's that same Prime citizen, return to your Prime home for your Prime meal tweet. Or whatever.
But, I mean, like, I guess I should be more grateful because it could be worse, Like, they're the most woke company, so that means that most companies are worse than them. And if they're actually not all that great, it doesn't really bode well for the rest of us.
Absolutely not.
Like, what's going on in Kentucky, right? Is that's where it's happening?
Yep.
Yes. Kentucky.
Good old Black Jewel Mining Company just shutting down and shafting everyone.
Yeah, what's the story there? Enlighten me and the listeners, because I totally know what's going on, but I want to make sure that you know what's going on. So
okay, well, I was going to ask you to see if you knew, but
no. How about we ask Zach? Okay, Zach, Bo, and I, we will double check you as you tell us about what's happening. Yeah.
I feel like I've explained a lot of things to y'all. Do y'all read? Do y'all even read?
I mean, like, we already know the answers to this question, but when I search Black Jewel Miners, I just get stories about underage urban youths getting hooked on nicotine. So I need you to explain what's happening.
God, that pun.
Horrible.
All right, I quit the podcast. See you guys later. Yeah, essentially, this, like, mining company went under because coal is, like, increasingly showing its ass as, like, not economically viable compared to, like, alternatives. And rather than notifying their employees or
nuclear,
fuck yeah, nuclear.
Sorry.
Rather than notifying their employees or, like, letting people go gradually or letting people go with, like, decent severance or whatever, they just fucking were like, it's the equivalent of, like, when I don't know if you guys have ever done this, but I definitely have. When you, like, get a job and you realize in, like, the first week it sucks, and then you just, like, no call, no show because it sucks that hard.
Yeah. No.
It's like if the company did that instead of one person. So literally, I mean, to cite, some of the fucking articles about it, like, people were, like, on summer vacation and stranded because they didn't have enough to get back. Like, families' whole budgets were thrown into fucking disarray.
Yeah, no. What happened?
Really
what happened was
people. No pun intended.
What
God
happened was the company closed. They declared bankruptcy. The employees weren't given any warning. They didn't realize anything was happening. Their paychecks that they got were just bounced, and that was it.
Yep.
Again, no, like Bo said, like no call, no show, but it's a whole ass company, and
Like when I do it, it's like
not one
douchey
worker.
at worst. When a company does it, it's like straight up like super villain evil.
Yeah, so what's happening now is there are about 100 coal cars on railroad tracks that they're trying to remove to ship out. The coal in them is worth about $1 million.
Just steal coal.
Absolutely.
I mean, yes, but what they're doing is they're sitting on the tracks, physically blocking them from removing the coal.
Oh, hell yes.
Yeah. No, it's actually really badass, yeah. And
Oh,
America's
yeah,
favorite
so they're sitting on the
grandpa,
tracks.
assisted the striking workers, Bernie Sanders.
Joe
of course.
Biden.
Yeah, of course. That's America's most infamous grandpa. If that show ends up on Disney Plus, consider me a subscriber. But yes, yeah. So they're not striking because they don't have jobs, but they're essentially participating in direct action to basically say, "Hey, fuck you! If you guys aren't getting any money, if we're not getting any money, you fuckers aren't getting any money."
Yep.
And the Sanders campaign bought them some pizzas, which I mean, it's a small gesture, but I don't see fucking Orb Mom doing that.
So all these people are camping out, and they can last into the cold weather because they have a nearly unlimited supply of coal to keep themselves warm. Like Victorian level urchins, just like waiting them out.
Yeah, absolutely. They will for sure last into the cold weather and won't be quietly disposed of by the coal mining
driven away by
company.
police, and yeah. Like there's like a lot of like jokes and tweets and shit here and there about like, oh, we're basically in like a second shittier Gilded Age, but hot damn, if ever there was an example, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It seems like every 3-4 years there's this massive group of people that have basically had enough, and they decide to take a stand, and everything happens and gets media coverage for about a week. Politicians start sending pizza places, in the non Jeffrey Epstein way, and then we all kind of lose sight of it because the 24-hour news cycle constantly distracts us. So
there's still people in Hong Kong doing shit, so that's what's real important.
Yeah, but I mean, they're apparently all dirty capitalists now, at least, according to my Twitter feed.
They absolutely are, and you will not disrespect the People's Republic of China on this podcast. God damn it.
Anyway. It really depends if you view the protesters as capitalist or not, and China as ML or not. So
yeah, okay. Actually, fuck it, I do want to talk more about this, but quick aside, there was an article about some of the pro, or like, just like general Hong Kong protests happening in Toronto, Canada, and the wild fucking thing about that was like Chinese nationals showing up in like luxury cars. It's like pulling up in fucking Lambos and shit, and it's like, how bad, like, do y'all not get optics? Like, do you guys really just all these fucking trust fund kids? Anyway, yeah, that's a whole other can of beans.
Yeah, again, I really look forward to Zach doing the like remix edition of 15 Million Flowers, where he's like adding notes and giving updates, just because I think it would be fascinating to do real time. Because then by the time that gets done, then doing another remix to that with like even more updates put on top just becomes like this 9-hour podcast series.
Yeah, I totally am absolutely on board with recording a 9-hour podcast series.
Absolutely.
You heard it her first.
Oh yeah, you're in fighting shape already, I can tell.
So I guess the main thing that we gotta focus on is showing not only solidarity with the people over at Black Jewel, but also remembering them and just making sure that we stay on top of it. We really cannot forget what work they're doing here. I mean,
and also like supporting them. They do have, as far as I know, they have a GoFundMe. They were taking donations earlier because the school year has started as of tomorrow, I believe, maybe last week for some of them. They were taking like donations, and they will still need donations to continue their sit-in. And I don't know if you are a nomad type and you can just pull up your roots and run to another city. Go by and sit with them for a little bit. They need solidarity. They need.
This is what we do. We get all the people. They steal all the coal. We then occupy a Sam's Club so late at night when obviously no one is there because it's all old
2 in
people.
the afternoon, you mean?
That's right.
Yeah.
And then they take it over, and then we have a standoff. Now, it didn't work out so well for Waco, okay? Granted. But, we have social media now, so we can really start making this a true Occupy movement all over again. So, the recession's about to hit. Now is the time to strike.
Yes, strike. Because unions. Get it?
God damn it. Well, I mean, I tried.
A general strike. Like what they almost had in Hong Kong.
And what they successfully did in Puerto Rico.
Yeah.
Yes, we just didn't hear about
we
it.
absolutely did not. Yeah.
It is amazing that all these people are having effective strikes and strategies, and for some reason
we just happen not to hear about it. Yeah.
Yeah, crazy.
Wasn't it something crazy? Like literally, like a third of the population of Puerto Rico, like busted out into the streets.
Yeah.
It was some outrageous number like that. Yeah.
And it was completely out of our news cycle within 3 weeks.
Yep. If that even.
Yeah.
I mean, like I don't fucking watch fucking TV news because I'm not a goddamn boomer. But I can do nothing but assume the worst about it.
Speaking of, actual events that have occurred that are being ignored by the news, maybe we should also talk about the conspiracy of the week that will in 30 years be just part of history. The history books.
Oh, you mean the how in the past there was a link between lead and crime? And now in today's society, there's a link between dirty air and psychiatric illnesses. Like,
I want to say in the past there was a conspiracy that companies that ran oil and gas were paying off the government agencies to not force them to remove lead from their gasoline, even though it was proven that lead is harmful to people, and that as soon as they stopped putting lead into gasoline because it was totally unnecessary and had no benefit, they were just putting lead in there, that lead levels in everybody's bodies dropped immensely, and that we've just now discovered that there's a correlation and hypothetically causation between the lead in gasoline and the rise in crime and serial killers
yeah. Oh boy.
that. Which, now all those oil companies are invested in technology services, and so they not only do they benefit from putting lead into gasoline, they're all now also benefiting from the Netflix shows that have spawned off of the crime wave that they've created. So I just want to point out that, this, dirty air creating psychiatric illnesses, all the pollution in the immense amount of carbon dioxide in the air do have negative effects on cognition and on mental health, and so I just want to propose that Verizon, who is also actively harming us with their satanic 5G networks that are sending out signals that fry our brains, also owns Tumblr.
What do you think the 5's for? It's the 5 stars of a pentacle. Obviously.
Absolutely. Yeah. And the more depression and BPD that I have, the more I am on and use Tumblr.
Yeah. So I just like the idea that like the fucking hypothesis of me growing up in a smoggy or not smoggy, but like fairly smoggy city, like that's what turned me into the podcaster I am today.
Zach, what if I told you that Verizon is one step ahead of you and they already got rid of the link because they sold Tumblr to WordPress a few weeks ago?
Oh, yeah.
They know. They're getting ahead of the headline stories. They knew what was going to be breaking.
Yeah, not to jump too far ahead and get into the end of episode plugs, but fucking, where's our Tumblr presence, boys?
Oh my God, you're right. I mean, they got rid of all the not safe for work stuff, and so we just realized it wasn't for us.
We're too horny for it.
There's no way that we can get our coveted Bad Dragon sponsorship deal and be on Tumblr at the same time. You know?
Yeah.
Imagine doing a Bad Dragon ad read, just like, me and my family have been loyal Bad Dragon customers for 3 years now. I use it.
Me, my MILF wife, my hot stepdaughter, my coworker, George.
God.
My mailman,
His
my
mailman,
masseuse,
his mailman,
his plumber,
his plumber.
his doctor,
Because, you know, there are plumbers, and then there are plumbers.
the pizza delivery boy, the pizza delivery man.
Do you guys ever
This is
think that
taking a
maybe
turn.
porn genres are like actually, you know, really trying to spend money into new job creation fields just so they can create plausible porn parody situations? You know, they're like, oh man, all these setups are getting so old. Quickly, we need to find a new industry. What's booming right now?
Yeah, I'm really waiting for Uber Eats delivery driver, Uber Eats customer out.
God
You know.
damn it.
There,
There aren't nearly enough podcast-based porns, I think. I'm not going to search that right now.
Not to. I'm so sorry. Podcast.
Podcast. I'm sorry.
I'm
My
so
Midwestern.
sorry.
I
don't
really
mean to
try and
dunk on
hide
you
my
for that, but
Midwestern
that just-
accent, but
I
you know
love
it leaks out sometimes.
They can't use the term podcast because it's like legally protected by like Yahoo.com or something. So it's like podcast. Yeah, that's definitely the real fantasy everyone has is like podcasters. Like those are people who fuck for sure.
Lelu Love Podcast episode 48. Wow, they have more podcast episodes out than we do. Special live
for them.
sex
Good for
cream
them.
pie segment. Rachel Starr, number 2. That's the video podcast. It's
is it a porn podcast where they're just fucking while they're casting?
yeah, that's exactly what happens. That's
Jesus fucking
episode
Christ.
122, live from the farmhouse, and my breast milk tastes. That's
No, it works like Comedy Bang Bang where they have on like one real porn star and then like another porn star who's playing a character.
Porn Stars Are People podcast episode number 114. Lux Suicide. They get into some real shit on these porn podcasts.
Yeah, that's the new porn genre. Is it's very millennial. It's suicide hotline operator fucks caller.
That's
Ugh.
God.
Jesus.
Continuing the cursed fucking phrases in this episode.
I just want to say, podcasters are braver than the troops.
Absolutely.
The word podcast actually comes from the, the caste system from many, religious countries prior to, Enlightenment era thinking. And, at the very bottom were the untouchables, and then underneath of them were the podcasts.
God, that
Podcast.
sucks so bad.
Well,
That
what's really nice to know is that we may not be able to get our podcast up onto Tumblr, but we absolutely can get our podcast onto Pornhub. You know, like that's what it's
Right
all
up there
about.
next to the Hamilton bootlegs. Yeah.
It all is all leading to the inevitable fact that we know that we won't be able to get on Patreon effectively, so we just need to set up an OnlyFans.com for us, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yep.
I wouldn't be mad about having a Tumblr. Like, Instagram integrates with Tumblr at this point. Like, I can just post the same post to all 3 websites at the same time.
That is beautiful.
Hell yeah.
Imagine me trying to navigate Tumblr replies and, like, reblogs. It would be worse than Twitter.
Hell yeah.
You mean it would be the most hilarious thing in the world, and it's something that we should now absolutely do. So I'll add that to our link tree. Just-
Nice.
Jesus Christ. Look, let me get the Discord up and running before we start diving into Tumblr,
When are we getting on
okay?
CISO, boys?
Ooh.
I hear good things about that network. We're the
They're
number
thriving.
1 podcast of
Thriving.
Movie Pass.
Do we have an Indeed account yet? Oh, no. If we're gonna do OnlyFans for our subscription service, then we need to just have a FetLife profile for Psychic Dolphin.
Hell yes.
Fellas, Creditreport.com. It's a real deep dive there.
Get on My Life.
What the fuck is this conversation? What rabbit hole have we gone down here?
I don't know, man. Like, we started to have a little mild existential crisis. I realized that porn stars have much better podcasts than we ever will. So, you know.
Well, they're far more interesting people, yeah.
Yeah, it's...
And they fuck way more than we do.
Yeah.
I mean,
Well,
like...
That's their job. Yeah. and they work in a deeply exploitative fucking industry, unfortunately.
They watch them make less money doing
Than
porn
we
than
do.
doing podcasting.
Than we do on this podcast that we do not monetize. God. Like, we joke, but that's probably actually the case.
Yeah,
Like, shit.
yeah. It's not cool, Bo. Let's not delve too deep into that dark industry.
Now
We'll be
I'm
fine.
sad.
Yeah. It'll be
Speaking
okay.
of sad, see, that's a good segue because you can literally turn it into any current event.
Oh yeah. Speaking of sad, we're gonna just roll over into our Hell World segment.
Oh, yeah.
What's happening this week in this hellish landscape of bad things that are constantly happening that we have to talk about all the fucking time?
Well,
Nothing. It's been a
yeah,
wonderful week.
Oh. Well then.
yeah. No, everything is fine. Nothing is on fire.
Air quality in
literally-
Brazil is the best it's ever been.
All-time high. Yeah. No, fucking, it's literally that fucking, KC Green comic that everything is fine, except he's sitting in the middle of the Amazon and just cooking. Ugh.
Hopefully it's Bolsonaro in the middle of the fire being cooked.
God, I wish.
I really do hate how we're all describing this as, oh, the Amazon's on fire, blah, 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 blah. This is so bad. And we're not thinking about all the indigenous peoples that live there or just how this is actively being set on fire.
Yeah,
So,
who have been telling, like, the world for a while now that, like, hey, they're gonna burn this shit down. I hope you're all paying attention. And,
I don't know how much you guys have read about.
we don't read,
some of
Zach.
the-
God damn it.
Oh, that's right. I'm the only one. Okay, all right. So I don't think that there's anything yet to validate the idea that's going around that like the whole Amazon is going to burn down.
But all of it will.
I mean, they if they had their way, they totally would. I mean,
One day.
Yeah.
But there's certainly evidence that more of the Amazon is being overtaken by industry and agriculture.
yeah.
And there certainly are fires that are happening. There are constantly wildfires, though. Like, if we think about it here in America, there's constantly wildfire happening in somewhere up in rural Canada, somewhere in California, and somewhere where there's been a drought.
Yeah.
I mean, there was something that was happening, just even right by in another building in my apartment complex, or at least that's what I assumed they meant when they said that things were getting lit.
That sucks.
Well, Kelton just carbon dated himself.
Much like we'll be carbon dating the remains of the Earth's lungs, as people put it.
True, absolutely. And I think there is plenty to be said about, like, hey, we do need to stop the destruction of not only indigenous lands, like Kelton said, but also these ecosystems that, like Bo said, the Earth's lungs that process 20% of the Earth's carbon dioxide and like 50% of the water that passes through the Americas passes through the Amazon rainforest itself, and so it's an important ecosystem that we need to protect. And if referencing a fascist leader in a country that is supposed to, that kind of owns all of that acreage, or at least encompasses all of that acreage, a fascist that wants to expand industry and farming. I can't think of the word I used earlier.
Agriculture?
That wants to expand industry and agriculture. It wants to expand industry and agriculture into these delicate systems that we are owners of. It's important that we watch him closely and that we fight to not only not go any further, but also to
undo the damage that has been done. Yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
exactly.
I mean, because that's the thing. To return to your example earlier of like, cyclical wildfires in forest environments, like, yeah, the assumption there though is that those forests are going to grow back. These forests are going to be cattle farms and like fucking people farming cash crops and shit. Not it's going to be regrown into more forest.
Yeah. And even if we don't fully understand, some of the extent to which the destruction is happening, because we're just now kind of hearing about it, and we're kind of starting to pay attention more maybe to South America and the amount of food that we import from the rest of South America. As global warming destroys crops like coffee and chocolate and vanilla and whatever the plant is that makes tequila, and
notoriously Brazilian crop tequila.
Yeah, we're not alcoholics at all
South
whatsoever. Oh no, the tequila plant is burning. Hold on, no, it's time for
that's
business.
Not burning. That's not burning. That's being affected by global warming.
Yeah.
And a lot of things come from the A lot of things from the Americas that are specific to the Americas are being affected by global warming already. We will see it. Kelton's children will see it.
I ain't having no fucking kids. Yeah. I'm putting my evil on them.
Yeah, I don't have to worry about that shit. Like, I've done my part. Something like that. Like, as ridiculous as PETA is, as ridiculous as as ridiculous as some of their stuff is, like veganism is kind of like an answer to that. And I understand that we are woke here, and we don't stand just veganism as
that's like an end all be all.
The one and only, as an end all be all. But like, it's important that we recognize that stuff like the cattle industry is destroying the planet.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, there's real no like upshot or like takeaway here. I mean, I've been having the thought like all week, like ever since this fucking came out, of like in a better world, in a cartoonishly like in like the wildest tanky dreams, Mecha Stalin would personally walk up to Bolsonaro and like rip his head off with his giant robot claws, and everything would be fine. But like for real, like there's no like free market capitalism answer to this, because that's what's driving this growth in quote unquote growth in Brazil. Is a need to appease the market, and the market wants more beef.
I think you mean free market
beef.
cronyism.
Yeah, it's not capitalism; it's cronyism. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Free market capitalism is the thing that's making people harness nuclear reactors to mine meme coin. Shut
the actual fuck up. No way.
That's what everyone's doing for fun these days. Because I mean, I guess, as it relates to the Amazon and what PETA's doing and the whole idea about veganism and all that, turns out, maybe making some weird furry art isn't the most praxis-laden thing that you can do, Like, it's just fucking bullshit.
So what is this about meme coin, though?
Sorry, I didn't mean to ruin the whole segment. Bo is like a dog that just smelled bacon right now.
Absolutely.
Wait, hold on. But yeah. Amazon's burning, world's on fire. We're all gonna go to hell. Kelton's children are doomed. Blah 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 blah. But
meme coin.
Anyway, so the National Guard of Ukraine, they raided a nuclear plant and confiscated 2 mining rigs.
See, this is why nuclear power is the best shit ever. Like,
this isn't the first time that state employees have abused their access to large sources of electricity or computing power to mine cryptocurrency.
Absolutely, yes. This rules.
Yeah,
it is the gamer's power source. All right,
Russia, Australia, and Romania.
All those countries are not countries I'm surprised at. Chernobyl 2 is going to be such a wild fucking series.
Chernobyl 2 is going to start because somebody tried to run Crisis on the nuclear reactor computer.
Yeah.
Is that joke still relevant? Does that joke still track? Anyway.
Bo also carbon dating himself with that reference. They're going to be They're going to be ripping jewels and doing kick flips in Heelys.
They're going to be running Minecraft RTX mods. How about
You're
that?
going to get so many.
Jesus.
You're going to get so many rage comics made about that joke, Bo. You should feel really proud of yourself.
Don't put that evil on me. Go fuck yourself.
Fucking hell.
Hell indeed.
I mean, everyone's going to be like blaming nuclear power for this when it's obviously cryptocurrency that's dooming the planet, not nuclear power, right?
Obviously.
Like, but the second I get an opportunity, to make PDG coin, I'm totally going to try and make
absolutely,
that. Like,
I was saying earlier we haven't monetized this podcast. That's how we're going to do it.
That's right.
Make our own little fun money.
It can only be mined at nuclear reactors, though. That's the way that we keep it scarce, keep it super valuable.
Yeah.
Christ.
So what I'm saying is the only way to obtain this currency is for the U.S. to expand its nuclear power facilities. Hint, hint.
Works out very well that way. Yeah.
That's the libertarian roots of Zach. Every libertarian wants everyone to use their own McNuke. Zach wants everyone to have their own McNuclear reactor.
Oh yeah, I should also note PDG coins are 1-to-1 directly tradable with McChickens and
Popeye's chicken sandwiches.
Yeah,
actually.
Popeye's chicken sandwiches. Yeah, let's make it topical. Yeah, I don't know enough about economics to to make this work.
This has been a fun episode, guys.
It sure hasn't, but you can say that.
Oh, come on.
Bo has fun every week, whether he wants to or not. We cut out the part where he doesn't.
You cut out the part where I'm begging to be let free, and then, some dude in a mask hits me in the face.
Well, since we're done, I guess our last bit is going to be the voicemail that we got, because someone finally left us a usable voicemail.
Yeah.
Usable being the main word here, people.
Yeah, no more just, late night breathing into payphones. As much as that turns me on, and as much as I appreciate being told I'm going to be cut into little pieces, it's really not good radio.
I love you to bits. That's why I'm going to cut you up into 1,000 of them.
God. All right, I'm going to give these a listen then.
Hello, Psychic Dolphin Garage. It's been nice listening to you. Alright, here's my question. So in one of the segments I was listening to earlier, y'all were talking about, the different post-apocalyptic scenarios as related to video games. It seems like, Fallout came out, of course, and it seems like a lot of people had some background on Fallout. So, which of the factions gets the most, of all of Fallout, all of the franchise, which of them gets the most political clout as, getting it most right? I think the funny, ironic thing is the boomers from New Vegas, were, decent, but are the Institute, centrist, and are the Brotherhood, the right, authoritarian right? I don't know. I guess I would just support Dolphins. Whatever you think.
So my boring answer, just to get it out of the way, is the followers of the apocalypse, just because they seem like very sweet, nice people. And that's about all they got going for them. My other answer is the NCR. There's a fucking, I think it's an Oxhorn video that does a good rundown of the NCR suck, but they're the best choice for the Mojave, which is again where my head's at, because Fallout New Vegas is literally the best Fallout game. But I like the caller's suggestion. I like the. Shut the fuck up! It is the best Fallout game. Don't you at me? Do not dare at me. But I like the caller's suggestion that it's actually the Boomers because just because of the name. So what do you boys think?
I think that the Fallout faction with the most clout is the Atom Cats from Fallout 4. That's actually my favorite faction. Every playthrough I go back to them.
And why is that?
Because they are not only are they the coolest, but also they don't really care about the bigger story. It happened, now we get to collect awesome power suits instead of sports cars. I'm still living my life. I don't give a fuck. what the greater powers are up to, because like they already fucked it up, and if they're still gonna squabble over it, I'm just not gonna get involved in it because I don't have to.
Okay, yeah.
I mean, I think the one that I like the most, and this is not just because it's the most topical, would probably be the Associated Miners Union. Before shit went south with Jacob Hargraves and all that. But
well.
I'm just saying. There was an employee walkout that took place at the Poseidon Energy Plant. They set up a tent city outside. It seems like it's something that people could take some inspiration from. Maybe, the poisonous riot gas or whatever the fuck that took place, and it made them all just
whatever heinous pre-war shit. Yeah.
Yeah. I understand that may not be the best, but that's who I most closely identify with. Now, who I think would actually have the most clout overall. I mean, I'm not that familiar overall with the whole, Fallout world, I guess.
Gamer boy.
I never claimed to be a gamer. That's
Fake
my problem.
Gamer boy.
And so like I don't know quite the whole thing, but I think the thing that I would like to do just for me and the club that might come with it is the White Glove Society. Speaking of New Vegas, just because, I mean, like dress up real nice and then inevitably die when the Cultural Revolution of Fallout New Vegas happens.
when people get sick of your vor shtick and end up driving you off the strip, yeah.
I think Brotherhood of Steel had the most clout in terms of influence.
Wait, which Brotherhood of Steel though? Because it's been written in a million different ways. We gotta specify that.
The New Vegas Brotherhood of Steel.
Okay, yeah.
I think they had the most clout. Just because they're the most. I don't know why they just feel the most organized. I guess.
Fucking powder gangers. How about that? How about those boys? Explosion boys.
Oh.
No, they sucked.
Oh,
they like much of New Vegas. They are horribly underdeveloped.
Yeah.
Also, as long as we're talking about meme factions that are underdeveloped, Caesar's Legion rules, because it's like, there's this like fucking total like brainiac wonk dude at the helm who's like, the fucking Hegelian dialectics of the Mojave, we're gonna enslave a bunch of tribes, whatever, and then like everyone else in the Legion is like the equivalent of like the dumbest NFL fan, like the kind of dude who like paints his face with like permanent shit and ends up having to wear it to work for a week.
Yeah,
that's the Legion in a nutshell. I love it.
The ones who had it the most right was Neighborhood Watch from Fallout 4.
No, actually,
they formed a community.
Guys, this is the next social media clout chasing strat. We're not moving into Tumblr. We're gonna start our own Fallout 76 guild or clan or whatever it's called, and it's just we get on voice chat and smoke weed and talk politics and don't actually do anything in the game. That's what it is.
Yeah, no, we just sit at the character development screen, just like clicking through the options,
making a million
for like 3
grody
hours.
Final Pam type monsters. Yeah, and definitely, I think that's the plan right there. I'm glad we could reach consensus on this.
I mean, I hope that answered your question, Guy.
Yeah, we really appreciate it. Yeah.
You didn't give us a name or anything, but we appreciate you, Guy.
Friend, buddy, pal.
Yeah.
We're not gonna dox you to the rest of the hyenas that listen to us.
Kevin.
We just pick a Fallout
from
clan,
Massachusetts,
and that's what we call all of our fans.
Kevin Hart.
Can you imagine? Can you fucking imagine?
I honestly can't.
Why the fuck is Kevin Hart calling us?
Let's get this small, loud man on the show.
That would actually be very fun. If anyone wants to call in and do your worst celebrity voice impersonation while asking us a question, we'll just, treat you like the person you're impersonating. You got to tell us
Absolutely.
who it is, of course.
Yeah, if it sucks, you got to really, really explain the joke. That'll help.
But regardless, go ahead and leave us a voicemail. You guys should know the number by now, but for any new listeners that we may have, it's 512-402-2727. 2089, or you can email us psychicdolphingarage@gmail.com. We're going to be starting up an official Discord. And by that, I mean, we'll be slamming together the rules and stuff. But go to our link tree in the show notes, and we should have the link to our Discord that then you can jump on, because that would be super fun.
Yeah.
It should be ready. It's ready for review right now. It should be officially ready to push out by the time this episode comes out.
Oh,
So.
shit.
Yep.
People of the future, enjoy this dumb chat room we made.
Right? And then on Thursday, come join us 8 p.m. Central Standard Time for our Twitch stream. That's the day that we're deciding to stick to, even though it seems like literally every other person loves Thursdays. I guess that just means that, we're doing something right here. We're continuing our Urban Outfitters series, where we go through select Carl Urban filmography, just because we thought it would be a fun idea. And what movie are we covering this week, boys?
We're going to be doing the Chronicles of Riddick.
Yeah. It's going to be ridiculous.
Oh, you shut the fuck up. You shut your fucking face. God damn it. I fucking come on this podcast, I sweat, I cry, I bleed, and you come at me with this ridiculous. Fuck you.
Yeah. Stop talking about your Bad Dragon experience, okay?
Listen, I'm not going to endorse this product unless they send me something, all right?
As always, you can find me on Twitter @SexConfetti. You can find Zach on Twitter @Shinobi1Kenobi. And you can find Bo on Twitter @Schnedwab. You guys got anything left to say?
I'm exhausted. Fuck this. Fuck you.
Later, boys.
All right. Deuces.